Hi, everybody. Welcome to our video. This is going to be a video on Egypt. And, we've got Egypt coming up as a trip that is available to take for people. And we just wanted to bring some of the people that have been with us before onto a video to help share their experiences so that everybody could, if you have questions, maybe they'll get answered in this video. I'm going to hand this over to Laura real quick and let her say what she needs to say. And then we're going to hear from our wonderful and special guests.
Yay, thank you, Tracie. Well, this video, like Tracie said, it's an invitation to those wonderful people that were in our previous trip, April of 2024, and they're here to share their experiences from the beginning of when Egypt was just an idea, right? Like, what was the idea? What was the impact on your thought process on how and why you should take this trip? And then obviously what happened during the trip, and then what happened after the trip. How did it change your life? How were you transformed after that experience? And take it away. Should I pick, or do you guys want to raise your
Start picking
hand?
some of these guys.
Yeah, but
Yeah, just grab one and start sharing.
All right, want me to choose, or you guys prefer to raise your hands?
I'll raise my hand.
Okay. Acacia, go for it.
Okay. Well, I'll start with how I found out about the trip was on Facebook, and I had never met Laura or Tracie in person. I had only done a few of the Zoom Daniel things with Tracie, and I knew her through a mutual friend. And somehow I just knew when I saw the Facebook post, I'm going to Egypt. I just knew it. I didn't know how. I didn't even know how I was going to pay for it. And I just decided to do it anyways. And what really signified that I was going was the day the deposit was due. I got a check randomly for the exact amount of the deposit. And then everything just kind of unfolded from there up through the date of the trip. And I had even gotten into a car accident and gotten a concussion about a month before the trip. And so I was worried about that. And within 2 days of arriving in Egypt, most of my symptoms were gone, which was really cool. And it was so life-changing. It's hard to put words around what happened in Egypt. And
I got a
the
question.
thing,
I'm going to
yeah.
interrupt that story because
Okay.
you had, in my opinion, you had a phenomenal experience. I got to sit by you when we were playing with channeling and just invited you to channel, and you channeled for the entire group. Talk about that a little bit.
Ooh, that was super fun. And it just happened so easily. Something about the energy in Egypt and the group there, I was able to just leave behind any sort of like doubt and fear, and with your guys' coaching and help also. But I got to channel Anubis for the group, which was incredible. And Anubis had been coming through a little bit before the trip anyway, so I felt really tuned into that energy. But I really learned to channel there. And then another experience where I got woken up by Atlantean dragons one morning that guided me to lead the group on a guided dragon journey. That was incredible. And, it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and these Atlantean dragons were like, "Hey, we want you to do this journey." And I'm like, "Okay, I don't know how to do that." And they're like, "Don't worry about it. We'll show you how." Um, and so in that journey with the group, the words just came to me. Like it was pure, like divine inspiration directly from those dragons, and really just changed so much for me. I'm actually getting ready to do a dragon workshop locally where I will be taking people on a dragon journey and then also some intuitive dragon movements. And this kind of originated from the Egypt trip.
Wow.
Amazing.
So you would say that things changed for you a little bit when you got back from the trip?
Oh yeah, life as I knew it was crumbling apart and fell away. and is actually it's almost like the version of myself that existed before Egypt has been completely removed. And I'm kind of at the last stage of that right now, which is interesting timing with this follow-up video that you guys are asking for. It's like the last piece of my old self is being deconstructed, and I'm being even more directly pushed into this skill set that came alive in Egypt.
That's fantastic. And by the way, I'm
Beautiful.
getting chills through this
Yeah, me
story.
too.
It's like, yeah, it's just an amazing and beautiful story. And I'm so, so blessed and excited and honored that we got to be part of that with you
Yes.
and be on that journey with you. And by the way, you guys, these guys have a WhatsApp chat that they started when we got back. And that's been months. And these guys are still so incredibly active because they're so bonded.
Mhm.
And we're also bonded.
We are.
It's incredible the right people show up for the groups, and they're your people. So, you know, it's like family coming together from all over the world, and we got to go on this trip together, and it felt like family from the beginning. It really did.
Yep.
And
It did.
yeah, that was just fascinating to get to do that with you guys. Is there anything else, Acacia, that you wanted to share? Or
I would just maybe reiterate, like, if you feel drawn to Egypt, listen to that calling. The doubt and the fear that's coming through is outside yourself. Your higher self knows when it's time to go to Egypt. If you're feeling drawn there, just go for it. It's totally going to be worth it.
wonderful. Yay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, who wants to be next?
I have one more question for Acacia. If you want, you mentioned about the Dragon Workshop. Do you want to share some information? Because I understand you even opened your own practice. You have your own place now. Maybe this is a good opportunity for you to, I don't know, maybe where people that may be watching this video and they might be interested in, the Dragon Workshop or something that awaken or the remember skill sets that you got from Egypt. Like, how can they find you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm in the process of building a website right now. I did open a practice. It's soft open right now where I'm doing Reiki and dragon readings and QHHT for people. The dragon workshop will be locally in White Salmon, Washington. I don't have a date set for that, but I could give people my cell phone number and email address when I get details and send that out.
All right. Or if anyone is watching and they're interested, they can certainly reach out to us and then we'll channel them to you.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
I love it. All right, that gave you guys time to decide if you were going to volunteer to be next.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, that's Wendy saying yes.
No.
You know how that works with me, Wendy.
Come on. Okay. Well, for me, probably a couple of months prior to you guys announcing the Egypt trip, all of a sudden I woke up one morning and it's like, and I have to go to Egypt. It just kind of popped in. And I just had, I had this thing that I needed to go to Egypt. So I was hoping to go to Egypt, would have been in 2025. Was it 2025? Yeah, it would have been in 2025. And, but it was like, it kept on coming up. Then, I've taken some workshops with Tracie, and then she announced, she made the announcement, that they were going to Egypt. So I was like, oh my God, I have to go to Egypt. I have to go to Egypt. And I ended up signing up, and I had no doubt. I didn't even think about, I wasn't worried about safety or anything. It's like, I'm going to Egypt. And that was it. Next thing I know, I'm in Egypt. So for me, it's been a really, really transformational experience. It began, well, during the trip, I had an ego death, a very severe ego death, where I just broke down in one of the temples, and I just felt like the old me was dying, and it was just like, very, very deep. And since then, I think I say that I've become the queen of death and rebirth. You know, I've gone through a lot of, you know, shedding of layers and skin and growing, and very much like Acacia, I feel like I'm myself, but I'm not the version of that I was before Egypt. You know, it's like that version of Wendy has crumbled away in a very positive way. In terms of, and not a lot of things happened for me during the trip, other than that, you know, very deep. I just felt this great connection to the different sites, and I had a lot of, you know, energetic connections, but nothing really big happened in that trip. But the things that happened were after the trip. So I realized that, you know, I have connections to Isis, to sorry, I can't, it's like my glasses, I need new glasses, I can't read. To Ma'at, and, you know, Mary Magdalene, who also has a big connection to Egypt. And those were really, really big things that I needed to work through after the fact. And then I think my gifts just are starting to flourish and bloom, you know, my intuition, my psychic, and I ended up also channeling a bit after the fact. So it's just been a really incredible journey.
Kind of undersold that a little bit. She's a great channel.
Yep.
Amazing channel. And yeah. So would you say that this stuff was activated for you, like the Mary Magdalene and the Isis and Ma'at, that was all activated for you in Egypt then, or?
It was Ma'at, actually, in one of the temples. I forget the name of the temple, but it was the one that we were anointed underground.
Yeah.
So on that one, you know, there was a time where I lost you guys, and one of the priests took me around to different rooms where I could, like, you know, I would crawl up, and then my third eye would get activated, and he would bring me down, and then he would put me, like, go into that little hole and then pray. And he took me to different places. And then at the end, he took me to a room that had Ma'at on the ceiling.
Oh.
And he told me, he pointed at me, you, and then he goes, Ma'at, and he gave me a kiss and walked away. And I was like, who is this?
Wow.
What is this? You know? So then, you know, later that aspect of it, I had to explore it after the fact, and it's been really incredible.
Yeah.
That's so nice. Tell us about the superpower that got awakened with the finger, with the little finger.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, my hand pendulum. I think I've got quite good, right, Tom?
Yep.
it's got quite good. Yeah, I for whatever reason, oh no, I kind of had activated before the trip, but it really came on, and I wasn't quite sure that I trusted it, or that I was doing it right. And I think in one of the Daniel channels, I think he said that it was pretty accurate and that I should use it. And I think we were exploring it, and it has gotten quite strong, you know.
I remember, right? We would get somewhere and be like, "Where's Wendy? We need to ask questions."
Yeah.
Yeah. We all had some fun with your hand. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was the fun part, I think, about the group too, is that we were all so close that we were all just like, even if we broke up, we'd break up into like two groups, and then we'd both go have experiences, both groups, and then we'd come back and we'd compare notes, and we'd actually have the same experience in two different locations. And then, so we realized it was really important for us all to share what was happening, because a lot of the stuff that we were doing would get mirrored with what others were doing. We'd all be, that happened to me too, you know. So, but yeah, Wendy, you and your hand pendulum was, I thought that was one of the highlights of the group for sure, having you come and
that was a lot of
use
fun.
your pendulum to give us direction and focus and stuff, because we weren't always able to just go into a meditation and ask our questions. And that's where Wendy's superpower come in handy, because we would just call her over and ask. She would use her hand and we were good to go. We'd get our answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have more to
That's
share with that, Wendy?
Well, I think that's it.
Okay, we'll probably have more questions for you guys as we go, but
Okay.
these are I love these stories, and it's fun to recap with everybody and go through these memories. It's so much fun. All right, Teresita or Tom, which one wants to go?
Go ahead, Tom.
Thank you, Teresita. Thank
Good.
you. You know, it was interesting when Acacia was saying, if you're interested in exploring Egypt and the things that could unfold, when she said that, it actually went further for me, because if you're in a place where you feeling like you're wanting to explore, you know, the different things beyond just this same old way you've always done everything. Egypt really just blew the doors off for me in terms of those types of things, and the openness to energy, and I suppose that place of taking yourself back into past lives that surely they do include Egypt. It was fabulous going to all of the different temples and the experiences, like Wendy was talking about Ma'at, and and whether it was Isis and all of the or Bastet and the places where we had connections. It was really powerful. And I think one of the things that I took away from that after that was, when you come home, you're now thinking about the reality of all of these different past lives and what are their different roles. And there's so much in my life that I've discovered that relates to those past lives. And some of it good and some of it not. But the parts that aren't, there's a healing that goes on. And the things that have been opened up have really shifted other parts of my life in really significant ways that I used to look at things in the past are just totally different. And so I guess I think, if somebody is thinking, is in a place where you're wondering about past lives, wondering about otherworldly, and your connection to it, it is really, really fun to explore all that in Egypt. And then, by the way, it transcends all that, that you bring back in ways that are really significant. And the number of things that have changed for me since then are really dramatic. It's just incredible to think, when I think of, all of the different things that I've done in my life, I would say that this Egypt trip was probably one of the most significant, just
Wow.
in really rocking my world, so to speak. And the group that we had, wow. I mean, when I was signing up, I was like, okay, who are these people? Oh my God. Oh my God, the connections to all the people was really, really remarkable. And it's just hard to believe. So I could go on for a long time, but all of the experiences are really powerful. So yeah, Tracie and Laura, thank you for everything you guys did and for all of the group. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you,
This-
Tom.
Mm.
Do you mind repeating something you told me once when we were talking about the trip to Egypt? You said something like anybody can take a trip to Egypt, or anybody can go to Egypt, something like that. But a trip like this, and then you elaborated a little bit more.
Oh
That
yeah.
was a really, really amazing statement.
Oh yeah. And I think what I was saying was anybody can get a trip to Egypt. And anybody can get a trip to Egypt that takes you down the Nile and does a historical trip, and great. If that's what you're interested in, there are lots of great trips out there. That wasn't what I was interested in. Now I am interested in the history, but the what this trip it was taking you into the magic of not just Egypt, but the whole solar system, the whole,
Mhm.
our earth, our heavens, the whole thing. And so finding that trip is priceless. That was, you can't find that trip, very easily. So that was what really was so great about this trip. And again, not only can you not find that trip, but you can't find that trip with these people. I mean, it was spectacular. It
Can
really
you imagine everything it took to align all of us in that same moment to get us all in the same place to do that together? And the universe provides, right? And after we hear from Teresita, I want Laura to talk about that initiatic path that she took us on, if that's okay. And then we can, if you guys have something to share about that as well, that would be wonderful. But yeah, that you're right. You can't just find that trip anywhere. It's
Yeah.
here. It's right here.
Yeah.
So true.
All right, Teresita.
Don't even know where to start. There's so much. There's so much. It's just, when I was little, I remember I was in Mexico and my dad had a book and I opened it and it was like all about King Tut and Egypt. And I remember I think I was like 4 or 5 and I was like, oh, I want to go there one day. And I always felt like an attraction to all the gold and the masks and just I wanted to be an archaeologist, but then I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. And then to know that I went there and I went, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. I went to like all the temples. I went to all the sites. I went to all of Egypt. And like, I remember we were on the plane and on the map, it shows you Cairo, and we're gonna land. I just started crying. And inside my head, I kept hearing, I'm home. I'm home.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was like the beginning of everything that was gonna happen. Oh my gosh. I remember I was in this room doing a hypnosis session and she says, hey, I was asking her about the halls of Amenti, reading the Akashic records, all that stuff. And she goes, oh, that's so weird that you like that stuff. I just read a book about this. No wonder you have to have this session with me. I was washing the dishes. And for like a whole week, I just kept remembering her. So I was like, hey, Genevieve, let's do this. Let's do your, reading, your hypnosis session. She came over. And she's like, it's so weird. For like a whole year, we've been planning it, and finally we get to do it. I wonder what's gonna happen. Well, at the end of it, she's like, hey, I don't know exactly who was talking to us in her session, but they were telling us about the halls of Amenti and how we can get access to all the records of the universe. By the way, I can do that now. I can see people's lives outside of Earth now. That's what.
Wow.
I
That's
don't
so
even,
cool.
I don't even know. Oh my gosh, like there's so much. I cannot. I don't even.
That's amazing.
Teresita, I remember when we were in the birthing chamber, I believe it was you that gave us the message that we were all siblings. Do you remember that message?
You know what? I don't and I do, because it's like I have severe dyslexia, so I forget what I ate for breakfast, or if I even ate breakfast. But it's like the days blur to me, the hours blur, I don't know but I have like a little memory of it. And
Yeah.
I do remember that we got in that birthing room, the funnest part about Egypt was not just going to Egypt and walking through all the monuments, but being silly and just like doing whatever we felt like doing and getting away with it, And so we had one of our friends outside, doing distracting the guards and everything. And then inside we were like holding hands and just humming and then all of a sudden that was like my first experience.
Yeah.
I just inside it, that's what Tom, that's what you were saying, your intuition, we all have it, but we don't pay attention to it. After going to that Egypt trip, living in the 5D, which I didn't even get. What the hell does that mean? I don't know. These people are cuckoo, whatever. I'm just gonna go have fun. No, yeah, living in the 5D for like the whole time we went there,
Yeah.
you learn that, yeah, your intuition is, you learn to like be your own, you know, what is that, cheer team. Like you believe everything, and then it's fun because we get to tell, hey Laura, blah blah, and Laura's like, yeah, and then she tells me all about it, and I'm so used to people telling me, oh, you're crazy, you're stupid, you know, the whole memories of all our past lives. And by the way, ever since I came back, I remember who I was. I had a whole conversation with Laura the other day, but I remember who I was, and it's not me in this body. And I've seen all my lives, not all of them because there's so many, but a lot in my other bodies. But I know who I am before I was even in those bodies. It's just mind blowing. Oh my gosh.
So expansive, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, I mean, yeah, we got to see all the monuments, all the tombs, all the graves. We got to talk to all the people. Like we have Natalie who turned around and she's getting chips, and it's like
oh my God, we got to share that. So Natalie, yeah, we're in the shuttle bus, and all of a sudden I look back and Natalie reaches out the window and she pulls back a potato chip and starts eating it, and I'm looking out the window and there's these guys in a truck and they're about that close to us, and she saw they were eating chips, so she just reached out and they gave her one. And that would sum up Natalie's, our experience with Natalie. She was just so easy to blend with everybody there, and got everybody talking to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so everybody, like, I'm kind of like scared to talk to people because, I don't want to get told, no, you're crazy, or, like whatever. I don't agree with how they tell us to be. I don't agree with a lot of things, so I just don't talk to them, But when the first part was getting to Paris, for a connecting flight, and I was sitting next to you, Tracie, I'm like, oh, I don't know, it's crazy. She, she talks to like the Arcturian, I don't know. And I was so nervous, and you're like, hey, you want this? You want this water bottle holder? I'm like, okay.
Well, that's right.
And then Laura's like, I'm gonna go get a croissant.
That's right. We're getting
and then we're like, oh. And then I turn around, my son is hanging out with you guys, like my mom is I'm like all by myself, but I felt at home. It was and then we got to the hotel and everybody else was there, and we were all like talking, and it just felt like it was like a slumber party.
Like a reunion.
Like a party buzz all the time. We were like dancing, woo, like in the Nile. We were just doing the corniest joke. We're in denial of being, no, like, we're doing the funniest thing. And it was just amazing. But the culture, everyone is so sweet, so amazing. They even cooked us food and they would package it for us. The chefs at the hotels, they were like, good morning, and they're like, oh my God, like just because we were being kind and seeing them like people, and they're just, I mean, I don't even know what it is. And then also the money, I took my mom and I took my son, and when my friend told me check out the video, I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'm going to Egypt. Oh yeah, 3 months Egypt, yeah, whatever. And then I said to myself, that was the first time I said, you know what? I talked to whoever was there. I said, you know what? If I'm supposed to go, get me there. Get me the money. Get me the time off of work. Get me everything I need. I didn't even have passports. Remember, Laura? I didn't even have passports. I put a rush order on my passports, and they didn't even get here like right away. So I was like, Laura, where are we going to? Everything worked out. I went to Home Goods. And I was on the phone with my sister, and I was like, yeah, I told the universe, if I'm going to go to Egypt, you better take me there. I turn around at the line, and there was a lotion, and the lotion said, and I wish I'd taken a picture. It said, lotion for Egypt. I was like, what? And I told my sister, no, crazy. That's like the whole intuition that we tell ourselves, no, no, no. And then I said, okay, well, if that's true, then give me the money. And somehow, I never get my taxes in order, but somehow they called me from my tax, place where I get my taxes, and they're like, we have an appointment available, and it's in person, and it's tomorrow. Do you want to take it? And I was like, okay, but I didn't even have my, and somehow I got all the money to go to Egypt.
Wow.
And it was always 7777, 7777.
I love it.
So,
Yeah.
you know what? It was just fun. It was like an awakening. I mean, superpowers, like maybe about a week before I went, I just kept hearing in my head like a high tone, like a singing bowl. And I was like, I'm gonna go buy a singing bowl. So, and I bought it. I was playing it, and in my car, I started doing light language for the first time. And
Beautiful.
And when we went to Egypt in that temple, then I felt so comfortable with everybody. Everybody was like, oh, and then me, I'm like, and then I started channeling. I channeled, I mean, I'm gonna say Syrian energy, and like my hand started like you opened like a flood of light, and then I could understand, and then I was touching people. Remember Tom? I was like a blind person. Just I was like, you're there, I need you, you're there. And then oh my God! And now that's what I do. I do light language readings. I have done Reiki. Like it's like as soon as I get an idea, I'll do this. I do it right away because now I trust my intuition.
Yeah.
And as soon as I do that, I swear, like I'm gonna say my superpowers, my abilities just like went off. Like they're just crazy. I am not the same person I was.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm gonna say for now because I could talk for hours.
We want to give you the same opportunity we did with Acacia. You're doing readings with this now. Are you doing that for the public?
Yeah, if anybody wants a reading, they could just contact me. I'm on Instagram, or they could give my phone number. I don't know if you want me to give that out.
How do they find you on Instagram?
Yeah, how do they find you?
Or just send it to us and we'll put it in the description of the video.
Yeah, that would be better. Yeah.
Okay, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do that, and tomorrow, that's why I'm in this room. I'm gonna clean it up, and I'm gonna use my singing bowls and my drums and just all my.
We're all like, woo!
Arms from Egypt. I got like my rod. I got like all these like musical instruments. And when we were there, I saw this, and it just called to me, and I didn't even know, huh, Wendy?
No.
I didn't even know why it was interesting to me. And now I know. I also have like a connection to Isis and the lineage of the rose. And it's just amazing. So that's what I do. I'm going to set up a singing bowl sound bath for a couple that's coming to my house tomorrow. Just
nice.
Yeah.
For fun. Just for fun.
Just for fun. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow,
Fun. Just for playing. Just for fun. And like light language, like it's like people like come, I start reading, I open their Akashic, I start seeing their life before they were on Earth, and then I explain to them, and then they say, oh, let's heal. And I'm like, okay, do you guys want healing? They're like, yeah. And my hands I start touching them, and they feel things. They feel like heat, and they feel like energies and tickling, and I don't know what, like all these crazy things. And it's like I'm a fly in my brain, and I'm seeing, I feel like I'm a reporter, like, they're putting light around you, and they're putting powers on you. And then I'm just like, I'm going like light language, and it's just afterwards people cry, and they're just like, they release things, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
And behind you is Diego, who also took the trip and was quite a little psychic novel for all of us as well, helping us to understand things that he was getting.
Oh yeah,
really cool.
Yeah, Diego, do you remember when you were in the Valley of the Kings and you had a flashback?
Oh yeah.
Of what you used to be?
There was so much that came through him. I'd be surprised if he remembered.
Oh yeah.
He was giving us messages at all the different places, and really connecting to the land and all the things. He was really incredible to have along.
There's one thing that I can share that I remember, and I was very impressed. It was at the room at the Osirian temple where we had the male energy ceremony. So Diego was just sitting there in at the top of one of, it seemed like a very tall stair, and he was just sitting there, you know, just being a kid. And then I just walked by him, and he's like, "Hey, Laura, I remember I lived here, and I used to do this and that and that." Like he was some kind of a teacher there. And I said, "Oh, that's so cool." And he said, "Yeah, and then over there's something that's like this, and that's what I used to do this or that." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And he goes, "Do you want to see it?" And I said, "Sure." And then I walked by the wall. I've passed by there before. I didn't see anything. I walked by, I don't see anything. And the moment he says that one, it was just like revealed. Like it was like if he had magically touched it. I was like, oh my God, like, you know, because at first I was like, oh yeah, cool, you know, maybe he's just saying things or whatever. He's just getting all the vibe.
Yes.
No, he could see things that we didn't see until he pointed them out, and like so nonchalant, like, yeah, I remember because I used to do this and this and this and that, like
it's just
in a language so eloquent that, I mean, he's 11, or he was 11 at the time of the trip. It was like an 11-year-old just does not elaborate something like this.
I'm just like we get to ride camels, okay? And we got back, and Diego's at school, and they're like, "Did you go?" And he's telling them, "Oh yeah, I went on a camel. I got to ride an RV car, or what are those, like those road
yeah, the 4x4
ATVs." Oh
ATVs,
yes.
yeah.
He got to drive a little boat on the Nile, you know, like he got to
drive the golf cart.
That's right. That's
like
right.
everybody was putting him behind the steering wheel. It was he's like, "I want to move here because they let me drive."
Oh my goodness.
And then all of us were partying, like it was fine, like we were protected. Like we didn't feel scared. We like the whole fear wasn't there.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Did you at any point during the trip felt that you were not safe or not taken care of?
The only time I thought I wasn't safe was when I wasn't going to make it to the bathroom. But yeah, other than that.
But even that was taken care of. Maybe not the way we would have all liked to, you know, just have. It's hard to get off the highways there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just think that to be funny, but that's not a problem at all. It's not a problem. No, but yeah, for sure. I was not scared at all. I felt like home. It just felt like home. It felt like being at home with my neighbors, with my family. I didn't even know where Diego was half the time. Like, I didn't know where Diego was half the time in Egypt. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You know? And
you had the village.
Happy. Yeah, exactly. Even like my laundry, which I'm super particular about. I was like, you know what?
This is what I loved about your connection to Diego, because I think it might have been, it was one of the places that we had the golf carts take us back and forth. Was that the Valley of the Kings?
Of the Valley of the Kings, yeah.
So he got on a golf cart and we didn't know, and he was already back with some of the people that had gone back before. And Teresita's like, "Where's Diego? Where's Diego?" And we're like looking all over for him, and she just stops, and she knew exactly where he was, and she goes, "It's okay, he already got on a golf cart and left." And we're like, "How do you know?" And she goes, "I just know." And so we went ahead and got on the golf cart and went, figuring we could go back if he wasn't there, and there he was. And I was just like, that mother's intuition, it is so amazing. But you were just so calm, where the rest of us were like running around, where's the kid? You know, and you're like, no, he's with the rest of the group already. He already went back.
Yeah.
And you were just really like, you just knew it, you felt it, and you were okay. He's safe. Yeah. You just knew.
Yeah. He felt safe. He was asleep, and everywhere he could take a nap, he was sleeping.
Yeah.
He would sleep in the museum floor waiting for this, or he would sleep on the bus, or he would sleep in the lobby. Dinner time, put food in his mouth, sleep while the rest of us talked. It was just really amazing. Just fun.
And on that topic, I really want to say, I cannot stress this enough. This like when you make this type of connections, like just talking to you guys again, I'm high. Like I'm back there in Egypt where I hadn't been feeling like that in a long time because we hadn't connected in a while. I mean, we're active in the group chat, and that's one of the wonderful things, that how everyone keeps on sharing what's been going on. But just gathering again, like all of a sudden I'm vibrating again and I'm high. I'm like,
Yeah.
does that happen to you too? Because for me, it's like I'm in my place, I'm in with my people, I'm with my clan, and all of a sudden it's just like high. I just feel high, like
Yeah.
so, and then my heart, and then obviously hearing you, talk about your experience, which was the purpose of this trip when we originally thought about bringing people to Egypt is, as I learned in this initiatic path, which is basically going through a series of places, activating, reactivated, because I was told that a lot of us that were in different times in the time of Atlantis and Lemuria, when we were all one, when this world used to be a utopia where we could be telekinetic, where we could teletransport, where we can have all of those superpowers that we only see in the movies with the superheroes. By repeating those paths and being at the time that we are, when Earth is about to transition and we're going to start the new world, with that, we're actually already at the very beginning. I've been told 2025 to 2030 is going to be literally life-changing, but at a major scale. And so those of us who were the originators of this particular set of skills left memories for us in Egypt that we need to go and recover. And a lot of times just being there, the place gets activated and we get activated. So it's like we're the key and we get to the place and we open that portal that brings in all of the information, all of the talent, all the skills, all the health or the DNA activation, all the cell regeneration and transformation that we need to have to be able to transition and even guide other people. Like a lot of you are now helping other people by doing readings, by doing workshops. A lot of times, some of us have positions at work that just by being at that specific super type A corporate driven place, by us being different, slightly different, whether we're open about it or not, you're already transforming somebody's thought, somebody's mind. So not because I want everybody to come to Egypt, I want everybody to experience what we have in this group. What everyone has shared here. For all of
Finding
you,
the tribe is huge.
Yeah, for all of you, like this was literally life-changing for the better. It was special, it was magical. And it was just activated. And that's what the initiatic path is. And we just did it in the way that we did it because that's the way I was taught, and doors opened up for us.
Yeah.
And it's still activating, right? It didn't end there.
It never stops.
Yeah.
I know that we only have a couple minutes left here, and I just really wanted maybe one or two words out of your mouths about what did you think of being in the chamber in the pyramid, being in the okay.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, you just like that sums it up. It would take me a half hour after that. But, oh my God. I mean, it's just incredible.
Okay. What about you, Teresita?
I would say I'm speechless. You know what? If anything, make sure you have enough batteries so that you can record what's happening there. Because
Yeah.
I wanna, oh my gosh, like it's like I cannot believe what happened there. I just cannot believe it. I cannot.
Yeah. So what we're talking about, you guys are in the King's Chamber in the big pyramid.
The Great Pyramid.
We had a couple of hours in there, just our group. And this is what that's what I'm asking them.
And I want to say too that if you haven't been to Egypt or you read about the fact that it was a burial site or it was a tomb for someone. It's not. It's an antenna and it's a portal. And these beautiful people here can testify to that. Once you get in that chamber, it is actually a traveling device to other worlds.
Absolutely.
Because that's what everyone experienced.
What do you think, Acacia? What are your words?
Well, I just had a memory reactivated. There was a sticker on a dehumidifier inside that room that Diego pointed out, and he was like, "Hey, that's you." And I looked at it and immediately was like, "Oh, that's me." And it was just like the outline of a girl. Diego, do you remember that? I took a picture of it.
He left.
Okay. Anyway, but you're right. It's an antenna. It's definitely an activation point. And I know that the core of my being that I'm supposed to remember in this lifetime was unlocked there.
Yeah, beautiful. And then Wendy?
For me, it was quite intense. I believe I went through a soul review. I went somewhere for a soul review. That's all I knew, that my soul was reviewed. And it was very, I felt right there and then that my life was going to be different. But it was magical, really.
Yeah, it was very powerful.
Yep.
And that is, that is that last point of that initiatic path. So here we had all of this journey activating our chakra systems and awakening those parts of us. And then we end it there. And it was just like this huge experience to me. It was powerful. So,
and Teresita's toning through the whole trip was incredible. But like in that chamber, when you're in the sarcophagus, I mean, it was really, really powerful.
Yeah.
So thank you, Terry.
That's another thing, Tom. Thank you for bringing that up, because it's very important to say here that every place we went, we really didn't have, I mean, we had an itinerary, but aside of the itinerary, we will go here from this time to this time and we'll visit here and there, and then we go back and we eat and whatever. Everybody knew what to do without knowing. We never talked about it. And whenever we went to a place where multiple places needed to be visited and we didn't have time or we didn't plan it out, different people split and went and got guided to be at those points. And then when we regrouped, it was like a puzzle that will reunite and bring in the experience together. That, and also everyone's skill or everyone's superpower is that everybody knew intuitively what to do at the right moment. We went to a place thinking that we're not going to do any activation, we're not going to do anything here, we're just going to go there. And then all of a sudden, whoop, everybody gathers and everybody starts doing whatever we were doing, singing, channeling this and that. And it was just, everybody knew what to do. That was the most amazing part about it. And I was like, oh, this is cool that we're doing this, but we never even really
we didn't say, okay, everybody gather over here, we're going to get in a circle. No, it would just naturally form, and it was everyone in the group. It wasn't like a select few. It was the group.
Taking turns in different sites.
It was pretty cool.
And I just kept laughing inside myself, because all this time, the agency makes me sign I do understand that it is forbidden in Egypt to perform rituals, and whenever they would say something like, well, this room, if you're gonna do rituals, we don't do rituals, we're not doing rituals. And then when we're all together and after we're done, and then I come back to myself, because when we're doing those things, we're just embracing our gods and goddesses, and we're just being our super powerful beings. And there's like, okay, I guess we are doing rituals. We didn't plan it, but it happened.
Yeah.
The group had such beautiful energy that they didn't care what we did.
Yes.
Even
our guys, they were like into it. They're like, oh, what are they gonna do now? And then they were just like, oh, let them do their thing. And we were just like, were doing our thing.
Yeah.
Like at the end, like they even gave up. They're like, we're not gonna tell you who this is, who that is. Just go do your thing.
Yeah.
You were talking, and they would look, and we were all gone. We had all split doing our own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I just have to add one more. Like I've been in other groups, as you know, I've been to Egypt many times with other groups. I've seen guards actually remove people from places when, you know, they're doing everything that we were doing. I've seen the guards actually being very strict and very firm and removing those people or threatening to remove if they don't stop touching or if they don't stop, you know, whatever. And I was so shocked that they just left us alone. And if anything, they helped us.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
they
the guy that-
did.
There was
They
one that came
did.
to get us to bring us to the well where we were all anointed.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, we were taken care of really well.
we
Yeah,
were
we were protected. We were
You were.
protected.
Yeah.
Yes.
protected and safe.
So we're going to bring this to a close. Thank you, everybody, for
Yes.
being here. I do want to say, if you were thinking about this trip, the part I play in that is I bring in the blue beings. I bring in the Arcturians. We do channeling. I teach channeling. I teach the light language. We go on past life journey to find your own connections to the land and to the area and your lifetimes there. Laura, talk about what you're doing with the trip as well.
Yeah, I usually give an astral travel workshop before we go there so that you are well prepared on understanding how your body works, how your energy body works, how astral traveling is possible, so that when we get to that place, you know exactly what's happening and you allow, with this understanding, to allow your energy body to travel and go back in time and space, wherever you need to go to recollect this data that we talked about earlier, bringing in your superpowers to this lifetime. And so this way we do the workshop a couple of weeks before the trip so that you're fully prepared, so that when you get there, to just explore, whether it's physically or in energy form or in astral body, and enjoy to the best of your ability, because you're not only visiting there in the 3D world, you can also, having this ability to astral travel, you can go through the other multiple facets of the other dimensions within Egypt that you need to access to bring in with
So
you.
powerful. And one of the things I'd like to say in closing as well, and I think I speak for both Laura and I, this trip is not about her or I, it's about you guys. And
Absolutely.
you know, it's about activating you guys. It's about bringing forward these gifts and abilities in everyone in the group. It's not about me showing my gifts and abilities or Laura showing hers. It's about us learning and growing and doing that together. So that's just one of the things I think is very wonderful about working with Laura, is we are on the same page of,
Yep.
let's show the world, let's teach the world, let's do this together. And then look what happens. We end up with these amazing people. And this is just one little piece of our group too. Not everybody could make it here. And I mean, it's just like, it's going to be hard to hang the call up because
I know.
It's so much fun.
yeah. Okay, so we're going to put Acacia and Teresita's information in the write-up when we get that for you guys. If you're interested in the dragons or the Akashic records and all the things that they were talking about that they can do. And then also, most importantly, our next Egypt trip is going to be down in that as well. So thank you everybody for watching the video, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.